What's up, Be Light family? We are back in the studio virtually, and I've got another guest for you today. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled for you to meet this young lady. When Dr. Nicole Graham began running in March of 2021, she had no idea what she was stepping into. It was a mission that would fuse leadership, wellness, and representation. What started as a personal challenge quickly evolved into something far greater, and it was an intentional pursuit of purpose, visibility, and impact. So guess who we got here on the platform? Dr. Nicole Graham is in the house. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me, April. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
I am so excited that I got a chance to meet you in person in London.
Yes, that was awesome.
And a lot of times when we do these world major races, we get together on the shakeout run, and I think that's where we met.
Yes, it was. We had our shakeout run, and I was like, "Oh, April, I knew you were running London." I said, "Oh, I get to meet April in person." I'm always excited to meet people who I follow, especially in our running communities that we've built this social media rapport. I haven't met you, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I
Uh-huh.
know your running story and I know what you share. So I was looking forward to, meeting you finally in person. So I was happy to do that.
Absolutely. So please, let's go all the way back. We see your medal. Is that New York City
Yes, this is
Marathon?
New York last year. This is my first marathon and first world major. Yes.
Wow. Congratulations. That's
Thank,
beautiful.
thank you.
That medal makes me want to run New York.
Yes. Come. I'm running next year. So come join us.
Oh,
Come with.
wow.
Yes.
Well, take us all the way back to, first of all, who you are, and then how you found running.
Who am I? That's a huge question. I was always active. I've ran track senior in high school, but it was spring track, and I ran the 100 and 200. I wasn't super fast, but I was fast enough. And
Mhm.
I enjoyed running, and I said, "Oh, too bad I couldn't run like freshman year. I really wanted to play basketball, but I lived um, kind of far from the school. I had to take two buses, and my father was like, 'No, you're not taking buses at night,' 'cause my father worked evenings. My mom didn't drive. So I wasn't able to participate in sports, not until senior year. And I enjoyed it. And one time I had to do a 4x100 relay. I said, "This is crazy. I didn't like this 400 foolishness." I said, "Oh, I don't know how people run long distances, you know, um, just doesn't seem right." But fast forward, here we are in March, I started this run journey. I too have Peloton. So I got the bike in 2019, at the tread in 2021. And part of my groups that I'm part of, Peloton communities, Black women working out, all about fitness. We don't care about sweating our hair out. We're all about just empowering each other and getting the fitness in. I started running on the treadmill and doing these different little challenges. And then I said, "Oh, well, maybe I'll do my first little 5K and then let me do a little 10K." One of the ladies in the group had completed the Abbott World Marathon Majors, and I didn't know anything about that part. I knew New York City Marathon comes on the TV, the different marathons that you get to see with the elites, but I didn't really know about the Abbott World Marathon Majors until she finished it. And I said, "Oh, that sounds like something I want to do." Committed to my first half in 2022 to run in 2020, no, in 2022, run my first half, which is supposed to be the race, which you are very fond of. That's supposed to be my
Yes.
first marathon. And my first half marathon, and the hurricane came. So they gave us an option to do virtual. We had to make a decision by that Wednesday before the race. And I decided I didn't want to get stuck. I said, well, maybe the weather might be bad. I might not be able to get back to New Jersey where I live. So I opted for the virtual. Weather wound up being
Now that
nice.
was the weird hurricane that came up from the
Yes.
Gulf and then affected everybody in the Southeast. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I wound up doing the half on the tread. So I ran a half marathon on the treadmill. Not ideal because it was raining hard here. It was cold
Was
and
that the
rainy. And
first
that was my first,
first treadmill half
that was,
marathon or
yes,
both?
that was my first half marathon on the tread.
Wow.
Yes. That was October of 2022.
Wow.
Um, Committed to doing halves. So I did five halves, five official halves, not including training, of course, but 5
Mhm,
official
mhm.
halves in 2023, and went ahead and entered the lottery for London Marathon. Didn't get in. I have not been lucky with any lotteries at all. So I
Okay.
got in by charity. So I was supposed to do London Marathon in 2024. So all of this nice running, 5Ks, the 10Ks, the halves, we're now leading up to like, oh, okay, Nicole, you're going to make this big plunge. You want to do the Abbott World Marathon Majors. 1% of the world runs marathons. You want to be part of you want to do that. Plus, representation matters for me, right? So, unfortunately, I fractured my foot on Valentine's Day
Mm.
in a restaurant. And that was 7 weeks before London. So I couldn't run and I was devastated. I was depressed. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just I was down because I had worked so hard. I was doing so well. My times were really good. I felt great. And then this happened. I'm like, oh. So now I had to, get back to figuring out, okay, what am I going to do? Now I'm a registered nurse too. So now with this fractured foot, what is nursing going to look like for me? So not just
Mm.
running, what is you know, my license, my expertise and my knowledge is what puts food on the table. What is that going to look like for me? Am I going to have limitations? Can I work in the field? Can I work in an office setting? Am I going to be able to ambulate and stand on my feet for a period of time? Because, nurses, we're always on our feet.
Yeah.
So that was, it was very stressful. I didn't know. So I started thinking about um, kind of remodeling, reinventing myself just in case. I'm always a person who thinks ahead. I don't wait to just right then. I always think ahead because you never know what's going to happen. You always have to have a plan A, B, C, and a D sometimes. So with that, I decided to go into a program to become a holistic nurse coach in the midst of now rehabbing, this fractured foot. Now I fractured a bone in the foot that is very small that a lot of people have a hard time coming back from. It's called the talus bone. And people try to come back to run setbacks. They just don't do well because that bone is just so small. And then me fracturing a bone in my 50s now, I've never fractured or broken anything before. Our bodies just don't heal the same. Our bones don't heal the same. Nothing's the same now compared to when we were in our 20s, 30s, 40s, even our teen years. Just
Yeah.
things have happened. So I'm already thinking like, man, I might not be able to run. This journey that I wanted to be on might be over. So I don't want it to be over. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to go to physical therapy. I'm going to do the exercises at home. I'm going to buy the equipment to have at home to reinforce what they're doing in physical therapy. I did all of that. Had a setback and wind up down for 2 more months, back in the boot for a while. And then that August of 2024, I was able to start training for New York City Marathon. Oh, London was supposed to have been the first marathon. New York would have been the second. Now, New York's going to be the first. So I trained hard. My ankle held up. My foot held up because everything, you fractured your foot bone, but your ankle is weak, knee is weak, hip is weak. You got to work on strengthening everything. It was tough.
You went to physical therapy.
Yes, went to physical therapy. It started that April because I fractured my foot Valentine's Day, February. Started physical therapy finally April, and then I was in physical therapy um, until September, from April to
That's a long
September.
time.
Yeah,
Do
and
you attribute all of the healing and recovery from physical therapy, or were you doing other things that would have helped?
well, when I went back to the doctors, I was going to the doctor every 2 weeks, and he said, Nicole, your bone is healed. Like he said, the fact that you are an athlete and that you run, I attributed to that because he'd already given me this time frame, maybe like 6 to 8 weeks. After week 4, the bone was already healed, he said. We did X-ray to confirm that from different dimensions. And I think the fact that I had been an athlete was helpful, but then physical therapy definitely as well, and just me wanting to be stronger and get better because I don't want this injury to take me away from something that I've grown to love. So
Mhm,
I was
mhm.
willing to you know, just like anything else, you're willing to do whatever you need to do. If you gotta lock in and really be on point with your workouts and things. Yes, my foot was fractured, but I still was able to do some workouts. I couldn't do the cycling because you got to be able to get your foot into your Delta cleat shoes and maybe get out in and out of the saddle and with the the turning. I couldn't do that yet, but I have a row machine. I would modify my strength exercises. I still did yoga. Couldn't do all the poses, but I did what I could. So I'm always a fan of every exercise is modifiable, and no matter
Mhm.
what ache and pain you have, there's a way to work around it if you really want to.
Yeah. Were you afraid? I know a lot of people who have injuries, they once they say the doctors say, "Okay, you're good to go." Were you afraid a little bit?
I was definitely afraid. I was afraid every day. I was afraid of walking. I was afraid to run. I was afraid to do anything. I think the fear finally just started leaving this year.
Mm,
Yeah, this year because I've done a lot of running, a lot of training. It's like I'm always in training mode because I have all these different races that's coming up. I think the fear started leaving like January, February, where I felt confident that this bone was going to hold up on me because I got through New York. I got through New York with no pain, no ankle pain, no anything. So I said, okay, this is good. But I also still wore it was a compression kind of boning kind of
brace.
immobilizer.
Okay,
So
okay.
I wore that and I felt great. Took the immobilizer off with the boning after the marathon, moved my ankle around. I felt wonderful. So since I felt so good, next marathon up was Tokyo. So I
You
said
didn't wear
I kind of graduated from this boned uh immobilizer and put on just a compression ankle. So I had a little
okay.
bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
So I wore that for Tokyo, and I felt great. I didn't feel scared. So I think that fear kinda was over, like, January, February, where because you can't run scared. You can't run scared. You can't
You're
do too
tensed
many
up.
things scared. You can't go into an exam scared. You can't drive scared. So I tried to ditch that scared mentality. Okay, all right, Nicole, you prayed on it. You
Yeah.
strength training. You're doing everything right. And you can do
Yeah.
everything right and things still not work out for us. We know that.
Mhm.
But I just had faith that it was gonna hold up, and
Yeah,
it did.
and it has. Cause you have
Yes.
run how many marathons last couple
Okay.
years? 2024, 25.
Okay, so since November of last year, which New York being my first marathon, and first world major, I have run now 5. So I
Show
did
us the medals.
so New York in
Yes.
November 2024, I did Tokyo March of 2025. I did London 8 weeks later, London 2025. I did Berlin September 2025. And Chicago, October 2025, 3 weeks after Berlin. And now I have Boston coming up. I got into Boston. I'm one of 4,000 lucky charity runners to get into Boston because everybody else are Boston qualifiers by time. So I'm excited that now I get to run my 6th marathon, my 6th Abbott World Major Marathon, my 6th star, and it'll be in 17 months that I've done this feat
I have so many
after
questions.
after
That's
injury,
amazing. That
life
is
after injury, resiliency, just if I could do it, anybody can do it.
I love it. Let me see, I take notes because, there's so much there. I do wanna ask you I wanna go back a little bit. 'Cause people are watching this and they're like, "I wanna get started with running. I don't really know how." You talked about you just came in on the scene, like 2021, right?
Yes.
What was the spark? For a lot of us, it's trauma. I know for me, it was I lost my job. I was in a terrible not a terrible marriage. At the time, it was terrible because 'cause we're still together. And that kinda motivated me to start running. What was your spark?
Think my spark is like I said, I've always been active, but as far as really an organized type of fitness at this point, I wasn't in that space. Prior to running March 2021, I was just cycling. So the bike in January 2019, pandemic comes 2020. Now we're home. I'm working from home. I got a chance to get extra workouts, getting the fitness in. Like, oh, yeah, these running classes. I want to run. I'm gonna figure out a way to fit this Peloton Tread Plus in my house or my apartment. We're gonna figure it out. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure it out. So that's what I did. Cycling, doing strength training, yoga. I did, hey, let me go ahead and invest in this treadmill because I want to start walking and running. So a lot of people who get treadmills don't necessarily run, they walk,
Right.
and maybe trot a little bit. So I said, I really want to start running. I had previously torn my MCL and tore my
Wow.
rotator cuff both in 2015. So right rotator cuff, left MCL. So I'm in physical therapy. Again, I know physical therapy very well,
From
doing both.
sports? Or how did you do that? How did you injure
So
yourself?
I don't know. The rotator cuff, the orthopedic surgeon said, Nicole, you have bone spurs. So I said, oh, okay. But I also too was active. I was working out. Um, After I had my last son, I have 3 sons. So after my last son, who I gained the most weight with, which was 40 pounds. No, 38 pounds. I gained 38 pounds. I started doing Shaun T Insanity. Remember Shaun T, Beachbody?
Yes.
He
Oh,
had
yeah.
Insanity,
Hardcore.
T25,
Yep.
all the different workouts. So I started doing Insanity. And I did Insanity 7 times, back to back to back. Now, if you know what Insanity is, it is insane. It is a very
Yeah.
hard workout, but it
Yeah.
helped me to get stronger. It helped me to be able to stretch and become limber because I'd never been flexible, ever.
Mhm.
I got my flexibility from doing Insanity. So maybe from doing the various workouts, I'm not sure. So between
Yeah.
this and this, tore this, rehab the left knee. And at that time, I said, well, if I never can, because I want to, started thinking about running. I said, well, this knee happened. If I can just be active, if I just can just cycle, I'll be happy
Mhm.
with that. That's what prompted me to buy the bike because I didn't think I would
Mhm.
ever be able to run. Tested running on a treadmill in 2019, 2020. And I was like, oh, my knee felt good. I wasn't running outdoors yet. I wasn't doing that. I didn't become that running outdoor person until 2022. So ran on the treadmill and I said, oh, I feel good. Maybe I can run. That's what prompted me to get the treadmill. So in
Mhm.
March 2020, 21, at the treadmill, started walking, running, doing challenges, and being, again, part of the community, pushing each other, getting stronger, getting faster. And they're like, oh, I'm going to sign up for my first 10K, 5K. Let's sign up for my first 10K. Sign up for my first half. You know what? I want to do marathon. I want to do this Abbott World Marathon Majors. Let's go for it. Because again,
Mm.
can't's not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You don't get in, you might have to do charity, you might be slow, just gotta finish by the cutoffs, all of those things that come
Yeah.
into play. But I'm
Mm.
always about challenging myself. I've always done that, whether it's through academics, through going back to school, and now in this athletic space,
Mm.
um, venturing to, stop being comfortable and have my own business. So, there's
Yeah.
a lot of change, a lot of wanna do. You just
Yeah.
gotta say that you can do it. There's nothing that you
Yeah.
can't do. I'm a firm believer that.
There's so many women our age, 40 and on over, that struggle. Like, I see it all over, and I get inboxes. People are like, "I just feel stuck. I just feel like I don't know my calling. I feel like, I'm behind." Speak to that woman because you literally you are a doctorate level nurse, and then you run all these marathons after having torn MCL and a broken foot. Speak to the woman who feels stuck right now.
Yeah, well, don't feel stuck. We all may at some point, we all go through things. As long as we're living, we're gonna be going through something, no matter how good, bad, or indifferent. Stuck is a mindset. That's a mindset. We're literally not stuck. But if you tell your mind that, oh, I can't do, or you have the kind of woe is me kind of mentality, kind of sadness, that kind of overtakes your body and your body feeds off that negativity. Vice versa of that, the body feeds off positivity as well. So yes, you may be in a season of feeling stuck, but that season is a season. It doesn't have to be a year long or lifelong thing unless you want that. If you want better, we strive to think better. We strive to do better, whether that's tapping into counseling or therapy or your village. We all should have a village. I know some people don't have a village, but 1 or 2 people that you can trust that that has your back. And kind of speaking those positive affirmations to yourself. I'm always about no matter how bad something is, it could always be worse. And I'm a true believer of that. Things always work out. So if you want it bad enough, yes, you may feel stuck right now, but you don't have to feel stuck. And if you connect yourself to that one or that other person, or you're open to listening to feedback and input, because some people say, like, well, tell me your opinion. And you give your opinion, they don't like it because it goes against what they're saying. So if you're really open and honest with yourself and you're open, honest to listening to feedback, that feedback can ignite you. and change your mindset and help you not feel stuck. So now
Yeah.
you can start moving in the right direction. We all have moments where we just kind of feel, it's just not working out. I feel bad, things not going well, job situation, relationship situation, children, you name it, things can go bad. I've been there. It's again a lot, but you don't have to feel stuck. Show yourself some grace, tap into your community. Like I said, therapy and counseling can be it's a wonderful thing. Don't feel that you're alone because you're not alone.
Community for me, I think, changed everything because I wasn't an athlete growing up. I saw people doing different things and I was like, that sounds cool, but that probably isn't me. And then when COVID happened, I was like, well, what else I'm going to do? Then I found a Facebook community and found another community. Then I saw Black people running and I was like, this isn't, I've never known Black people to run other than away from things, right? You see a whole group of Black people, you're like, run, don't ask questions.
Yes.
And when I found that community, it changed everything. And so even if the woman that's watching this feels like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, find a community. Like
Yes.
literally, if it's a walking community, if you don't want to run, join a community. I promise you, you will grow.
Yes, absolutely. And it's amazing. People definitely watching. And I get a lot of questions asked of me either DMs or when I go to different meetings or different events. Nicole, how did you get into running? Oh, I want to do my first 5K. Okay. The elites run because they're running for prestige money. That's their full-time job. I said, the rest of us, we're running and walking. We're doing intervals,
Whatever works
you
for
can
our
do a little
body.
trot, whatever your
Yep.
time is. I said, your race, your pace. Your race, your pace. Sign up for that first 5K. Just commit to it. Next year, sign up for that 5K in April. And now you have from December to April to start practicing. The first thing is just going ahead to register. Secondly, register for a race that has some bling because you want to feel like you're running for something. So I'm always about the bling. We run
Mhm.
for the bling, right? So
You do.
sign up for a race and then start practicing. Walking, running, it's a little intervals. You don't have to go out there from the couch and now expect to run a 5K. When you haven't run before, you got to crawl, walk, drag yourself before you can start trotting and running. It's a process.
Yeah.
Everything's a process.
Yeah. What about bringing your expertise as a nurse? People who, you hear the stories, oh, my knees are bad, or, I had surgery, or even for me, I didn't understand this in the beginning that cardiovascular health is really important with running. I thought, oh, I'm going to just start running and just be fast or just be able to be comfortable. I didn't realize I needed to work on this muscle that's called the heart. Share with people. Sometimes that can take 20 years. It can, depending on what you're doing. How important the cardiovascular part of running that people sometimes think, oh, I'm going to just get out here and be like Dr. Nicole.
Right. No, you have to, it's a process. You have to start someplace. And again, you have that small population who doesn't run and they can just get off the couch and run a 5K or a half
They're
or a
20.
full. Yeah, like these influencers do, or so-called or whatever, that you don't so-called train. But you have to start somewhere. Start walking. Walking is the best low-impact exercise out there. Now, purposeful walking, intentional walking, walking with the purpose. I tell people all the time, you got to start someplace. Start walking. Build that part up because you have a lot of people who don't walk. They just walk to their car, walk to their house, apartment. They're not actually walking. Get out and start walking. Again, like you said, find a community. A lot of communities, towns have groups that meet weekly, that run or walk, or they do both, and they have two groups. Try to see what your community is doing and tap into the community, but start walking.
So
You know,
walking does not look like people will say, well, I've been walking for 5 years and you're on your phone and you're texting. That's not what we're talking about.
no, we're not talking about the leisurely walk. We're talking about the intentional, purposeful walk. The requirements or the recommendations that we all get 150 minutes of moderate level exercise a week. So that means moderate means your heart rate is up. So
Mm.
walking has to be your heart rate is up, not just a little ginger walk. No, walking with a purpose, power walking. As we see power walkers all the time. They walking. So power walking, get a nice little pace, start off with that, and then start a little jog. But before you do that, I tell people all the time, go to a sneaker store, Fleet Feet, Road Runner Sports, have your foot measured, foot analyzed, do a gait analysis to make sure that you're getting the appropriate footwear. Because the footwear that we have at home, I mean, I've seen people running in Jordans, and I don't know how they're doing it.
Yep.
You can't. You got to you need the right footwear because the right
Yeah.
footwear is going to set you up, set your body up for success. Because if not, oh my God, my knees bother me, and this has bothered me. So the right footwear, and start walking and then start, get a little trot. I'm a big fan of Jeff Galloway, so I share the Jeff Galloway method with people. Tell them to go on Facebook or Instagram and follow Jeff Galloway, and they can get, or go to YouTube, and they can get more information about the Jeff Galloway, especially for new people who are starting to run, want to get
Yeah.
into that space, and to work
Yeah.
their way up. Now, knee pain, we all gonna have aches and pains. If you've been to the doctor and you know what the diagnosis of your knee pain is, a lot of times if it's osteoarthritis or your knee's bothering because your hip is weak, got to strengthen up the hip, got to strengthen the knee. It's like everything is connected. Kind of got to do those exercises. But a lot of times if it's osteoarthritis, the doctors say, well, the best thing for you, if it's manageable, is movement. So you still got to
Mhm.
move. Strength training
Yeah.
is so important for runners. We really
Mm.
have to tap into strength training. It's very, very important. And again, you can modify every exercise. Yoga is good. Stretching, recovery exercises are important as well. So people have to not just run and then sit down. They need to do a warm up. They need to stretch before, whether stretching is yoga or good stretching. Get your workout in, and then post recovery, stretch, activity, sauna, um, your compression boots, massage gun. That's all
Anything to
important.
take care of the body, and I do not run from it. I'm like, "Oh, I need to go to the sauna. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I need to make my
Yes,
appointment with the massage therapist." Like, anything for somebody to touch my body and make me
yes.
feel like, "Ah."
It's all very
So
important, and I
mm,
I go for sports massage and stretch. So I get a 90-minute sports massage and
yes.
stretch every month now, which is very, very helpful. And my massage therapist is very keyed into every muscle and knows what's tight and how to stretch, and particularly for runners.
Yeah,
I look forward to that,
me too.
session every month. It's coming up,
Mhm.
the end of the month, so I'm looking 2 more
I
weeks.
want
I'm looking forward to it.
I wanna talk about the differences between each of the world majors, because a lot of people will never run a world major marathon. Did you have a favorite? Did you, within each one of those majors, did you feel like, "Ooh, I probably wouldn't wanna do this one again?" Like, tell us what's the differences?
Well, for me, I know a lot of people like to run the same races over and over again. I haven't run that many races that I would frequent and run again, you know, because I think that there's so many races out there. I want to kind of touch other races opposed to putting the money and time into this one and do this one over and over and over, unless it's New York. Um, then that's something different. I would say out of the 5 that I've done, New York and Chicago were my favorite. Kinda like Chicago and then New York. It's like right neck and it's
Mhm.
almost like
So
right
many
there.
people say that. So
Yeah.
many people say it's really hard to choose.
Yes. I really enjoyed Chicago. I really had a good time. It was really, really nice. But New York will always be special, one, because it's my first marathon and it was New York. And I had such a good experience, and it gave me a baseline of where I was running 26.2. We all have these ideas, and I went into New York City Marathon with no time in mind. I just went in, wasn't trying to, oh, it'd be nice to finish under 6 hours or do this or do that. I'm coming back, I'm running a marathon 268 days after fracturing my foot.
You
And
just wanna
I'm
finish.
running this marathon. I just want to just finish. And I did. And I finished. I finished great. I finished in 6:02:05, which I think was really good for my first marathon,
Yeah.
considering what I
Yes.
had been through just to get there. So I was excited about that. So I would say Chicago and New York, my 2 favorite. Tokyo, Japan is beautiful. The people were nice, the food was good. Tokyo started the heat waves. So Tokyo was hot. It was 70 degrees, not their norm, unseasonably warm. We all were watching the weather. I guess the powers that be, they figured this, oh, 6 cups per runner. They ran out of cups and water. on the, on the course. And people like me, I'm considered I consider myself a back of the packer because I'm
Mhm.
not like super fast.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I felt bad for people behind me because I already saw that there was water, there was a water issue and a cup issue already. Didn't care for Tokyo. It's a lot of out and back kind of out. I don't like really out and back races.
Mhm.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. But I
Could you
think Tokyo
bring
was my
a
least favorite.
vest? Could you bring water with you or
Well, Tokyo, you're not allowed to bring any water. Unlike, you can bring water bottles for races. The only thing you can
Yeah.
bring with Tokyo is either a 250 milliliter little carton, so a cardboard carton, or if you can find like a 250 milliliter Capri Sun kind of packet. That's the only thing you can bring. You can't because you're not going to put any of your waste in their city. They don't have
So
garbage cans on the street. There's no garbage cans on the street in Tokyo.
so
So
they didn't have water for
so
people in the
right,
back of the pack.
exactly. So you
And then
run out of water, a necessity when we can't bring our own.
wow.
And they don't have Gatorade, they do Pocari Sweat, which is their electrolyte hydration drink. Tastes kinda like a grapefruit drink. I trained with it here, so I would know what it tastes like, so I wouldn't be,
Mhm.
again, nothing new on race day. So
Yeah.
I trained with it. But no, the water situation, it was the later miles, but it's still the water it shouldn't have ran out of water in cups. Everybody
I'm
who's
assuming a lot of people didn't finish for that reason alone.
exactly, no, they had a lot of people didn't finish. Yeah. So Tokyo was my kinda like least favorite. London was hot. Um,
Yes, I
a lot
remember
of
that.
bunched up people. I expected more because a lot of people talked about the crowd support. There's a lot of crowds out there, but it wasn't as lively as like Chicago and New York.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Berlin now was hot, super hot, humid. Um, it was a lot. And I don't do well in the heat. I'm like heat stroke prone, so I'm very careful about when I'm outside in the heat, extra
So
hydration.
far, Tokyo's hot,
Yes,
Berlin's hot,
London's hot.
London, all these places that shouldn't be hot.
Yes, yes. So, the humidity factor in Berlin it was hot and humid. They had plenty of water. Um, I just wanted to finish, and at this point, I'd gone into Berlin wanting to PR. That was a goal of mine, like, I really wanted to PR. Race day, that kinda went out the window. I said, "It's too hot out here. I can't. I'm not gonna be able to hold this up," what I was hoping to do, but I still wind up having a PR. I still wind
Nice.
up shaving off time and finishing under 6 hours. I finished at 5:57 and some change for Berlin. 3 weeks later, Chicago. Chicago was it started getting warm. It didn't start off warm, but it got a little warm out there. It was nice.
Yeah,
It was in the 60s and then it got to
yeah,
like 70, 71.
yeah, which is hot.
It's warm for a marathon, but it was a nice day, nice course, nice energy. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I was in the last corral. I always called it the party corral.
Yeah,
Corral in the party corral, and I was back there with the pacers. So there was a 5:15 pacer, 5:30, 5:45, and a 6-hour pacer. Now I was going into this because when I went to the expo, I said I'm gonna try to stay maybe with the 5:45 pacer because now I just ran Berlin 3 weeks ago. It was hot. I'm tired, still recovering. I'm not gonna push myself. I just want to just finish. Oh, I didn't see the 5:45 pacer was way in the back. I said, "Well, I'm not gonna wait for the 5:45 pacer. At 15 pacer, I'm in the 5:15 pacer group. I'm gonna see how long I can stay with them." And it's surprising, I stayed with the 5:15. It was a little tough. We were moving, but I stayed with the 5:15 pacer group to almost the halfway mark. And I said, "You know what, Nicole? I need you to fall back. You said you were gonna just run with the 5:45 pacer. Just chill out. You have nothing to prove." So I wound up finishing that with my best PR. So I shaved off time from Berlin. Now I finished Chicago in 5:42:04.
wow, wow,
So I've shaved
wow,
off 23 minutes in 1 second from New York City Marathon in 2024 to now Chicago in October 2025.
that's huge.
That's a
That
lot of
is really
time. I was
big.
like, "Oh, I felt really good about that." I mean,
Yeah,
as a 53-year-old woman who's been running, since
yes,
2021, I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty
that's
good."
huge.
My goal is to run the sub 5 April. I really want to like to achieve that.
You can do
That's
it.
what I got it might take me some time to do that, but that's what I want to do. I want to run a
You
sub
can do
5.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we had Jafar on here, and I was amazed. I said, "How do you run a 6-hour marathon and then go to 3 hours and some change. So
Yes.
it's possible. And you know him. So
Yes.
you're going to do it. You're
Yes,
going to do it.
I'm trying. I tell him all the time, I said, You are amazing, you inspire me." So, if he
Yeah.
can do it,
Yeah.
and basically almost cutting it in half, I'm like, "Well, I didn't cut
I
nothing in
asked
half."
him because I'm like, I want to know, how do you do that? He says the amount of running.
Yes.
And a lot of times people think it's the speed work, it's the hill work. He goes, no, you just got to run a lot. You just got to run easy a lot of the time. And I was like, okay, I need to probably add another day. I do 4 days, and most of those are easy runs. So I'm considering, like, maybe I should run 5. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
not
lot.
I'm not as competitive.
Yeah, the training is a lot, I ran 5 days a week from August of 2014 getting ready for New York City Marathon that November. That was a lot. Running 5
Yeah,
days a week was too much.
yeah.
And then I ran 4 days a week for Tokyo and London.
Was
But
that
then
the
there's
sweet
also this I'm sorry?
was that the sweet spot? 4 days for
I
you?
5 was a lot, and I said, "Let me try this 4-day." But then, again, the science of running, right? There's a whole, idea out there about running less to run more, to run faster. So, for Berlin and Chicago, I ran 3 days a week.
And
So,
then you came out
Tuesdays would
fast?
be tempo, fartlek type of work, like your work. Thursdays were easy runs, and again, these Tuesday, Thursday runs are runs that are 4 miles, 5 miles, 3.5 miles and then long runs on Saturday. I do my long run on Saturday, and then not just easy pace. They may have marathon pace intervals kind of embedded in it. I too use Runner.
Yeah, okay.
Runner was helpful for me. I had a coach for New York City Marathon in Tokyo, and then London. I really didn't need to because it was so close. London and Tokyo didn't really need
Yeah,
to do anything different. Just kind of
yeah,
get the miles, some time on my feet, and then I use
yes.
Runner for Berlin and Chicago.
I have this question because I've seen a lot of people do this, and I think more recently, these back-to-backs. At first, I'm like, "Ain't no way, like, this seems stupid, you're gonna hurt yourself," but then I'm like, "Well, maybe the body is already, like, adjusted, right?" So I just finished a marathon, 3 weeks later, I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. How did you feel doing those so close together? Would you do it again?
Do it again. The adaptations that you achieve during your training, like once you're done training, you're done training. You're not going to get any faster. It is what it is at that point. So you figure when you run a marathon, it takes 1 to 2 weeks for your body for, those muscle fibers to heal, that lactic acid, everything. It takes about 2 weeks. And you've already trained and you've already ran just 26.2. So me running Tokyo and then 8 weeks later running London, like, okay, I'm gonna rest these 2 weeks and then I'm just gonna just get back at to it. My body felt good. I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel beat down or anything like that. So that was a help. But I just was being consistent. I think my thing for me, the consistency piece has been the game changer. I'm very consistent. I'm consistent in everything that I do. That's just part of who I am. So I think the consistency is what really carries me over from race to race, especially when I had these short time frames. Fast forward to Berlin, Chicago, I rested 2 full weeks from Berlin. They only gave me 1 week for Chicago. So I just did just a little bit, a little sprinkle here, a sprinkle there, just to stay active, get some little time on my feet. I said, my body's ready. So I tell myself, I'm in my headspace. Nicole, you're ready. You've already trained. There's no more to do. And then you just go back and do it. So I definitely would do it again. I didn't have New York this year. So had I had New York this year, then another 3 weeks out of Chicago would have been New York. So you just kind of think about it like, oh, I'm just doing another long run times two. You just you
Yeah.
kind of make it
'Cause
fit in your brain.
'Cause at one point I was like, "Okay, if I do decide I wanna do all 6," I'm still not convinced because 'cause I'm not a big, like, "I gotta get the 6 stars." But I'm like, "I'm I'm 48. I don't have a lot of time, right? So let's do it while we can." So now it's like, hearing you say, "My body was ready for it." I may take that into consideration, like, going from 1 to the next one, having 2. At one point, I was like, "1 a year? That's all that I can do?" But hearing what you say is that your body is already in this mode. Maybe I could do 2.
Yeah. I mean, I don't it's not a lot of coaches and a lot of folks in the running community might not be a fan of that
Yeah,
running, kind of back to back. But if you're just doing it and it's not like you're running a marathon every 2 weeks,
yeah,
the body's amazing.
Yeah.
our ability to heal. But again, having your body in that good state with your nutrition, your sleep, stress management, hydration, water is important. So having all those things, if you're doing all the good things for the most part, and then you're being consistent with your runs and you take care of your body, take care of the temple, you should be able to knock it out. And again, I'm not pushing it or encouraging it, but I think your body can hold up with it if you don't have any other um pain or chronic health issues or modalities going on that you can go ahead and do a marathon kind of, close to back to back.
Hey, that is something to think
Well,
about.
come with April, you can do this. I mean, I never thought I you know, I think back about my life and I'm like, "Okay," and I ask this of myself all the time, like, "Who am I?" Like, "Nicole, why do you do this?"
Yeah.
Like, you never and my cousins, like, my family, the ones who know I run, that's closest to me, like, "I didn't know you ran." Like, I didn't," you know? I
Yeah.
ran in high school, then that was it. I was active, I did a little intramural basketball in college and, um, I've always been active, but not to this level. Not to this extremes, not until now. Like,
Yeah.
you're consumed with running. You're consumed with thinking about your runs and what do you have to do and making sure, okay, I make sure I drink this, make sure I get my protein in, this, that, make sure I follow what my coach tells me. Cause yes, even as a coach, coaches have coaches. So just kind of staying on point with what you need to do.
Are you doing anything supplementally, that you wouldn't mind sharing with the people? Like, if you are you taking collagen?
Yeah, so I take some supplements. I take creatine. I also take BCAAs. I take carb powder, Vitargo. I take the carb powder when I do my long runs or because I'm a carber. I know everybody has a different thing that prepares them for these long runs or for marathons. I need the carbs. I
Yeah, me
eat
too.
pasta, I eat rice, I do Vitargo carb powder. And I take in that extra carb, especially the week of the marathon that's coming up. As far as other supplements, I take nitric oxide. I do gels when I run. My nutritionist didn't really want me to take a lot of, gels. So like, Nicole, try to do natural caffeine. Like, I don't drink coffee. I'm one of the
Mhm.
nurses that didn't pick up on the coffee habit, but like try tea, like strong tea. Try to use
So,
that.
when you're running, they want you to do what? Like, if you don't do gels,
But I don't do
what's the
gel. Why
alternative?
I do gels, but he just didn't
Mhm.
want me to do gels other than for marathons. Like, try with my long runs, try not to use as many gels, during
Mm.
my long runs
So
and
to
just try
get
to
it before, like, carb it up so that you
yeah,
won't
try to
need.
get the carbs in, try to do the tea. Some people use coconut water. I've not used coconut
Mhm.
water.
I love coconut water.
Yeah, I haven't tried the coconut water, but people use coconut water, they do tea, people use coffee for the caffeine.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um Rice Krispie treats, candy, so
Mhm. Yep.
nerd
Yep.
clusters, I use
I've
that for
tried
fuel. I
those.
use that for energy. I
Yeah.
do take gels, but I find that I don't take as many if I have my appropriate, water intake. I have my I use my Nun tablets. I use that as my hydration. I'm not a fan of, some of the other ones that I've tested and tried, not really a fan of those.
Mhm.
Um and I take, Bounce pre-workout gummies. Each gummy has
Mm.
160 milligrams of caffeine, so
Okay.
I take those when I run. Now with me working and I work in the city and then coming home, I've been doing my runs after work. So now
Okay.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I run, I'm not taking any caffeine because it's too late. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just take nitric
Are you
and
running that on the treadmill
I run on the
after work?
treadmill. It's cold here in New Jersey, so
Yeah.
and then now today snowed, but, it's been cold and it gets dark at 4:30, so I've
Yeah.
been running on the tread, and then I've been able to get outside for a long run. Like, last Saturday was nice, so I got
Yeah.
outside.
I wanna eventually get a Peloton tread. Do you think it's worth it?
I think it's worth it. I had the Tread Plus. I actually saw the cross-training tread last Monday. I went to, a pop-up shop that they had, and they had one of the Peloton instructors, Kirsten Ferguson, talking about the tread, new cross-training tread. It's like a little over $5,000, but it's really nice. They did a really good
What do
job.
you do on the cross?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
it's the screen
everything.
moves, the speaker, it has the guide on it, has a fan on it. It's really nice. The new tread is really nice. But I have the Tread Plus, which has the big 32-inch screen, and it's
Okay.
nice. It's just comfortable.
So right now I have a garage sale treadmill. I think it's a Pro Form.
Mhm.
Is it the what's the word I'm looking for? The impact that's
Yes.
different? Is it the I mean, I know it's sleek, I know the entertainment is right there, but does it really make a difference as far as, like, from what you observe, like, you're running?
I think it does because the Tread Plus has the slacks. It's not a belt. So I think that helps, and that helps with people who have knee issues. So I think that was
Mhm,
an important contributing factor for me
mhm.
to purchase the Tread Plus opposed to the regular tread that just has the belt. Because I've run
Yeah,
on a belt before.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the slacks is definitely more helpful if you have
easier.
knee issues
Okay,
with the
Imma have to
impact.
check into that.
And
Well, the
then,
way
and
we
then having
talk
the correct sneakers, the correct
Yes,
tread sneakers.
yes.
I have tread sneakers, I have outdoor sneakers, sneakers for, you know.
Interesting. Okay, before we go to this or that, I've noticed Endorphin Speed by, Saucony or Saucony. I bought my son some because he wanted to get into running, and my husband borrowed them and then was on the tread, and he was like, "Ooh, these are slippery." And I was like, "That can't be." And then I put on some and I was like, "These are slippery." So hearing you say there is a tread ready shoe versus just a regular shoe, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't wanna say tread ready, but I committed sneakers to the tread. So when I first started running, I was running Hoka. But then
Okay.
over time, the Hoka didn't serve my knees well. I think because the cushioning was just too much. I didn't feel like I had any control. So then
Yeah,
I
okay.
went to Brooks 15. So I run in Brooks on the treadmill. Those don't
Okay.
go outside. They just tread sneakers, period. I have my other sneakers that I run with outside, but I've committed those to the tread, and the Brooks are not slippery.
Yeah. Because I think the Endorphin Speed, they don't have a lot of grip.
Mhm.
I know Brooks sometimes I don't know if it's a wavy, but I know Saucony it's very flat, so maybe
Yes.
that's the issue. I'm gonna look into Peloton if you would like to donate or give me to try. I mean, I'm open, but I'm gonna
Absolutely.
look
Take the
into it.
trial, take the trial, exactly.
I'm gonna
But,
look into it.
but
Yeah.
whether you have the pro I used to run I had a pro form, years ago. So, the pro form was really, really good. And a lot of people they don't have the Peloton equipment, they just use the app. So, you don't even
Yeah.
really need to spend the money, unless you really
Yeah.
want it. So,
Yeah, I really want it. But I need to get my basement finished first, so I'll wait. Okay, we always end with this or that. So just tell me which one is sticking out to you. Would you rather long runs or evening runs?
you said long runs or evening runs?
Morning runs or evening runs?
Morning runs,
Okay. Treadmill or outdoor runs?
outdoor runs,
All the time. Long, slow run or fast speed work?
some of both. I don't know. I like the speed work.
Yeah.
Because I like to challenge myself.
Uh-huh. You sound like that. Music or podcast when you're running?
Music.
Um, Medal photo or finish line photo?
Metal photo.
Flat course or a hilly course?
Flat all day.
Oh, I realize I don't like flat courses.
A lot of people
I
don't.
need something. I live in Atlanta and the hills are healing here. I've run Las Vegas half, and it is literally like this. You can see all the way at the end of the strip. My back was in so much pain. I'm like, it's just the same repetitive over and over and over, and there's
Mhm,
no acceleration, deceleration. And so recently I did a half and I PR'd
mhm,
here, and the hills are crazy. But I'm like, I loved the downhill, of course, and then I felt like I had some momentum going up. So I don't
Yeah, a lot of people don't like flat.
yeah.
Um, I mean, a mix is good. I mean, it was like Berlin was flat. Tokyo was mostly flat, little inclines. London,
They
little.
lied because it had some stuff in there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Chicago, has some elevation.
yeah,
I mean, you have elevation, you do hill work, right? So,
yeah,
that's what we have to do. Try to find some hills, or if you don't have hills, just use your incline. If you have a treadmill, you use the incline and try to imitate the hill work.
yeah.
And I definitely have to do that now because I have Boston next.
Oh, yeah,
So I have
that's
to do
got
the
a
hill
lot of
work, deal with
yeah.
Heartbreak Hill and the Norwood Rolling Hills that's about to come up. So I'm gonna have to like
Well,
it.
speaking about Boston, please tell the people what you're fundraising for and where they can donate.
Okay, so I am I applied to so many charities, waitlisted on one. I have received like 3 no's, so they had like 1 bib, 4 bibs. The other organization I haven't even heard from yet, but, after an interview and waited for a week, I got accepted into the New England Center for Children, Team NECC, and they are an organization that works with children and adults with autism. So through research and education and, they have wonderful pathologists and teachers and everyone, the funds that I'm raising helps this population. So I'm excited. It's 10 of us that were accepted to Team NECC. Giving Gain is the forum, is the website that they use. I am Nicole Graham on Giving Gain. People can follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to be better at posting and becoming a content creator because that's the only way, and trying to share my journey so people can, learn from it or inspire. But you can follow me on Instagram. I'm What's Up Dr. Nicole. So that's What's Up and then Doctor as in DR Nicole. And Facebook, I am Dr. Nicole A. Graham. So getting ready for Boston. I have less than 130 days for Boston. That's my 6th star. Black Unicorn loading. I'm excited. I'm super duper excited. And I never thought that I'd be here like
Mm,
now. Like Boston is it's one of the hardest to get into. So I'm
right?
excited. 25 has been amazing for me, just running around the world, meeting wonderful people, meeting you in person. Some of us don't live in the same state. We don't live in the same country, but we're all connected through
Yeah,
running.
it's a
And
beautiful
it's
thing.
just it's been wonderful. So this year has been truly a blessing, and I anticipate 2026 to be just the same.
We're going to put your link in the show notes. So if anybody sees this video and would like to donate, I am definitely
Awesome.
going to be donating. Thank you so much,
Well,
Dr.
thank you
Nicole.
again, April, for having me. Wonderful podcast, wonderful opportunity. I appreciate you.
Y'all stay bright and be light out here in these streets. Bye.